Hey, what's going guys? It's your boy Slash, back at it again with another tournament coverage video. So we'll be going over some of the best games from Whother's Premier League Week 2. Um, as people in the tournament know, this is kind of the week of chokes. So I guess I'll be going through a few replays that I liked, even though a lot of them were chokes or just kind of one game's automatic. And of course we'll start with my game. So my game was against Sono Clover. I kind of prepped for more of a balancer, bookie type build. I actually ended up bringing hyper offense, which I was not expecting. So let's just get right into it. So I lead off with Tornadus because it looks pretty strong into Superior. Not so much into potential Charizard Y, but into Charizard X, it's pretty good. It stops Manaphy from tail glowing, stops Excadrill from getting rocks, and it can U-turn or get some damage off into Bisharp. Because, hold on, let me pull up my team in a new tab. Because I think I have it saved. Showdown. Oh, hold on. All my ad block stuff got updated. Let me see if all my teams are saved on this new tab. They're not. How do I, whatever, we'll figure it out later. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. So yeah, I let off with Tornadus anyways. I think this Tornadus has Heat Wave. I guess there's another place I could check before I really get into it. I just don't want to kind of sell this. So I owe you 1 or owe you 2? I have no clue. If we don't find it in like a minute, I'm just gonna... Okay, yeah, so this was the team I brought. So yeah, this wasn't actually Heat Wave Torn, but it's still good into the Bisharp lead, because I have Keldeo and Max Fizdef Pharaoh in the back, and I can just U-turn, gets a little chip into it. But he actually leads off with Drill, which is fine, not a big deal. It's probably the best lead for him. Leads well on the Gardevoir, has Sash for Keldeo. Yeah, so it's not a bad lead for him. So I think I just taunted off the bat, and he read that and just went for the Rock Tomb. Totally fine. Sorry. And I went to my Garchomp just to stop the Rock Tomb and break the Sash. So I think this turn he Earthquakes, and he sees that I take like no damage because I'm Special Defensive Chomp, but whatever. Or I take a lot of damage, sorry. And the taunt breaks, so I figure why not just get my rocks here? Fuck it. He's gonna get rocks this next turn, but not a big deal. I just go right back into Wingman. And I think I U-turned out again into my Gardevoir because it... So look at Gardevoir and look at his team. In theory, Gardevoir kills a lot of things with the pixelated Hyper Voice, but you'll see he goes into Superior, and I believe he goes for Light Screen first. So yeah, he goes for Light Screen. Kind of sucks that well, it takes so little from Light Screen damage. Sorry, from Hyper Voice because of Light Screen. Sorry. And it's not really good because it's a pretty good stop to Mega Gardevoir. Potentially lets in Charizard. So it's a little scary. He goes for the Glare next turn. And I get the Hyper Voice off. And I crit it. This crit is pretty big for me because it means that now my stuff like Bisharp, Power Whip Ferrothorn, U-turns, just any physical hit is going to still do some pretty solid damage. So, but he goes into Manaphy. And this is a pretty big threat. Mainly because the light screen's up, so Keldeo's not going to do that much damage if this Manaphy has any bulk invest. My Garchomp is too slow to deal with it. My Bisharp is too slow to deal with it. My Gardevoir, which would be a speed tie at least, is paralyzed. And the Ferrothorn is max Fizdef. So he goes for Tail Glow, and I think I got parried here, which, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but I would have liked the chip, obviously. Hyper Voice comes out, I get some good chip. And he goes for Rain Dance. I'm not totally sure why he went for Rain Dance here. I think this was kind of a wasted turn. I think he should have just killed my Gardevoir, to be honest. Would have saved him some health on his Manaphy, but... yeah. And so then, I actually make a pretty bad play here and go Ferrothorn instead of going Keldeo. Let me open the damage calc over the spreadsheet. No internet. What? Do I actually not have internet right now? Oh wow, I don't. Okay, I can't actually open the damage calc. Um, but anyways, this is a choke because my Keldeo, I'm pretty sure with Specs Focus Blast would have killed the Manaphy and just gotten it out of my face. Obviously Charizard would have come in then, but you know I still have stuff like Ferrothorn and Garchomp to chip it down. So I don't think Charizard would have like won off the bat. Um, but regardless, I went Ferrothorn and I was just like, I think his last move is gonna be Rest. So I thought Ferrothorn would have lived the Surf. But it turns out I was wrong, and it doesn't even live the surf anyway, so yeah. Yeah, I think this stopped my lo-fi. We'll just rewind it then. But yeah, so he actually kills my Ferrothorn, which sucks, and I'm just like, yo, that shit. So then I'm like, okay, I don't really want to risk whether or not I beat Manaphy anymore. I'm just going to sack my Garchomp and let him kill me. And then I decide to go Keldeo. And I think here I Hydro Pumped because I believe Specs Pump always kills Manaphy there. And it does a decent amount to Latias, it's not a lot. And so I'm fearing Trick, as I don't really want my Torn to be Scarfed. I'm fearing Thunder Wave, I don't want my Torn to be paralyzed, obviously. It's still really good right here. So I actually go into my Bisharp, and I get Thunder Wave, which sucks, but it is what it is. Then he goes into his Bisharp, which, you know, it's pretty good play, because what else is going to get in on? He doesn't know if my Tornadus has Heat Wave or Superpower or whatever, and it's definitely not coming in on Keldeo. So anyways, I get a huge, huge damage into Bisharp, which was actually sashed, but then I get parried on my Sucker Punch, which kind of sucks. But I actually think it may have been good for me to get that paralyzed Bisharp out of the way, because maybe that Charizard, which you'll see later is Mega Charizard X, maybe it DDs on my fucking Bisharp and I get lucked out of my ass, and then I just lose. So I don't even think that the parry on the Sucker Punch was too bad for me. The Keldeo takes chip from Sucker Punch, obviously. It is what it is. And Scald comes out. And now I'm a little scared. But he goes in his Manaphy, which is kind of a throw. Because... So, the Manaphy only has Surf and Ice Beam, which I've revealed at this point. So he's not going to do a lot of damage to me. Latias was probably always the play in getting a Thunder Wave off on anything. Because if he Thunder Waves my Torn, then brings in Charizard, I get parried, my whole game plan's over. Or Latias just coming in with a Scarf Psychic could have been big too. But he goes Manaphy, Ice Beams, doesn't freeze. Even if he did, I'm locked into Scald, so it doesn't matter. And I Scald again on his Manaphy, and it's out of there. So then Latias comes in. And I am pretty sure at this point that he is going to either Thunder Wave or double to Charizard. Either one of those is okay for me, because if it is Sun Charizard, well, not if it's Sun Charizard. If it's Sun Charizard, it's already over. There's not much I can do. If he Psychics and he's not Spatak invested, I should be okay. It could be a roll. I mean, let me see if my internet's back, and I can check. It is. So, my Tornadus, Therian. Let's do OU default. This is the right spread, yeah. And shouldn't have boots, but whatever. Latias. Let's do whatever. OU double dance, and we'll get rid of attack, and we'll put in Psychic. I think this Psychic does like 30. Yeah, 31 to 37.5. So let's say there's Stealth Rock right here. Let's remove the heavy duty boots, obviously. It's a very low, very, very low chance to two-shot me after rocks. So, and if he is Spatak invested, then it's also already over. But seeing as I saw Thunder Wave, I didn't think it was. So he goes for Psychic. It doesn't get the 2-hit KO, and I go for the Hurricane. Hurricane is because if I U-turn and it doesn't kill, which I don't think it actually does kill. Oh, no. So then U-turning was always the play. So I actually misplayed there. That was risky. Okay, good to know. This is why we do these analysis. I probably should have U-turned there then. Well, actually, I didn't calc with HP, did I? So that would have still been a roll, right? It's a roll, but looks like it's in my favor, right? Because he was at what? 29? So the U-turn is 68% chance in my favor, and Hurricane was 81% chance in my favor, but this was with the chance to miss as well, so I think U-turn was better odds there, and then I could always just Scald any Charizard. So, but Charizard comes in, and in case it's Mega X, which it was, I taunted. I didn't want it to set up or anything like that, and he did go for Dragon Dance because that was his win condition, obviously. And then I go for the Hurricane, and I win. So a choke by my opponent, also not very well played by me. I definitely could have played this better, maybe not going into my Ferrothorn right away, maybe going Keldeo over Manaphy. I did think it was Rest, but that still, I think Keldeo was always the better play. So yeah, GG to you, Clover. You did choke by going Manaphy, but it is what it is. Oh, this game has been going. Okay, so we're not actually going to watch the whole game of this, but this is a pretty cool... I just wanted to more showcase the team that Jules brought. So it's kind of semi-stallish, I guess, with Pressure Moltres and SD Lucario, which is pretty cool. So they both lead off with Aggron, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they do. And the Aggrons, I think this one sets up rocks, this one just goes for Heavy Slam. Yeah, and it does like 4. Yeah, literally 4. Heavy Slams again, and I believe he roars. So already you'd think that Jules is in a good place with rocks down. Moltres could be susceptible to rocks. This Aggron could be carrying Earthquake. It's kind of looking like how does Jules beat this Aggron? So instead, his Blissey sets his own rocks, as he's not really fearing any move from Aggron, it looks like. And the Slowbro, I think it just scalds here, no? Oh, Thunder Wave. And it misses. Not a big deal. Goes back into Aggron, goes for a Seismic Toss. And here's the big turn. He blocks the Aloe. This is the exact turn that the game was won. Turn 6. Semi-stall versus full stall. This is where the turn was won, on turn 6. The Aloe was dead. Got Toxics. Scald is doing like less than 10 or 10 to Aggron. It's doing nothing. The Aggron's also got Rest, so now Joey has to fear a block on another Mon that isn't Nidoqueen or Aggron, obviously. But yeah, it's pretty rough having your Aloe dead, which is your main cleric. He does have Wish Florges as well, but yeah, this is pretty much the turn that was over. There is more to go into though. So he has T-Spike's Nidoqueen, which looks pretty big against this team, but you know, there's also not that much threatening stuff like Blissey and Hydreigon on the opposing side, besides Florges threatening Hydreigon a bit. Aggron a little tough for Blissey, but there are still chances for Moltres to get in and defog. And maybe the Hydreigon was defogged too. I don't think we know. But yeah, the Aggron comes out on Blissey, Nidoqueen comes in, Blissey comes back. Just kind of recycling over and over and making sure that things are good. So this is a play that a lot of people think was bad, but I don't think it was bad. He SDs with Lucario, whatever, and Lucario dies. While this looks bad, this actually allows Moltres to finally come in and get the defog off for Jules, resetting hazards. And the Moltres also reveals Safeguard. And Safeguard's huge against this, obviously, because now Blissey has no way of beating Moltres. And that's because of pressure. So each Seismic Toss used is 2 Seismic Toss. Same, you get the gist if you know what pressure does. So I think this is where, yep, everyone's like, sheesh. And Joey's like, I've been C-team. At this point, the game is pretty much over. There's no way now for Joey to keep rocks because Moltres is at full health. So look at this. The Moltres immediately comes in on Aggron every single time while Joey goes for rocks and immediately defogs. There's nothing Jules loses by doing so. And at this point, the game is over. We can just skip through all these turns, I guess, because they're not really important. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of stuff where Moltres looks like it's in trouble. But at the end of the day, Moltres comes in very freely on Florges and Aggron now. And he, of course, can just Safeguard versus Blissey, because not even a problem. Like, so yeah, Jules definitely built a really cool team that deals with stall while also still being a semi-stall team. So I really like those kind of fat teams with really interesting win conditions. So this was a pretty cool pick by Jules, I think, and I just wanted to showcase that a little bit. Then I think, what tier is this? It's some poverty shit. I think this is underused. Yeah, there's Lucario and shit. So we have Clash with the Trick Room team and KSB with a sort of balancy, bulky offensive type shit. So just looking at team preview, the Ursaring, I don't even think I've watched this game, have I? If I did, I was at work. So Reuniclus doesn't look that big because of Blissey and Mandibuzz. Also, since it's probably offensive Trick Room, it also has to deal with all the offensive threats. Let's get right into it, though. So Reuniclus starts off versus Volcanion, and Volcanion immediately subs versus Reuniclus as it goes for Trick Room. I'm kind of shocked that he Trick Rooms right away, but I guess he also didn't really have an answer to Volcanion right away. Especially if it's sub, and that Steam Eruption is doing 61, which is ridiculous. He goes on Focus Blast on the Mandy, but Mandy's not even taking that much. But Obama Snow comes in. This thing is a threat because I think it's Mega. Blizzard is threatening to everything, obviously, except for Blissey, which is threatened by Woodhammer. It's so huge. But the Medibuzz actually goes for U-turn. Oh, I did watch this game. I was definitely at work. Yeah, I typoed. I was at work. And Lucario comes in on Abomasnow, interestingly enough, and he gets Earthquake to death. I don't think that's a terrible sack, honestly. Lucario, it doesn't kill any of these guys at full, and it's kind of relying on the priority to really get some hits in, so I don't think that was a terrible sack, to be honest. I'm like, Mega Obama, yeah! The Craw comes in on Volcanion. I wonder if Steam Eruption kills at this range. What is it called? KSB goes for the sub, and Crawdont loses HP. So now it's in range of just Flamethrower. Wow. Okay, that was a good play by KSB. Because Crawdont can't Aqua Jet, obviously, because of Water Absorb, so there's no way to get Chip besides knocking it. KSB goes for the Swampert. I'm not too sure why. I think subbing with Volcanion was fine. Especially if it's sub-toxic, I mean. Gets the play with Mandibuzz right against Swampert. Pretty cool. Still, Trick Room's up. Goes back into Blissey. Gets Blizzarded. But now he has to fear Woodhammer. And Blissey just soft boils. Okay. It's not bad. The Bronzong sets up Trick Room. Mandibuzz just trying to U-turn out for momentum. But the Abomasnow just coming back in for free. Over and over. Oh. I'm not sure if I'm analyzing this enough. Abomasnow is a threat, but Clash is letting it get... It's taking a lot of chip. I mean, obviously you can't prevent rocks from going up, but... Does Woodhammer really not do that much to Blissey? Let's go to SM, because Abomasnow, Mega... Let's do Trick Room Attacker. I don't know if these are the... thingies, but Hammer. Let's get him off 29%. So whatever is doing, oh, but that's recoil, I think. So that's tough. That's a tough play to make by Clash to want to Woodhammer that. So never mind. I don't think he's playing Abomasnow badly. It just looks like Blissey is just a really good answer for that. But Ursaring does come in with the +2 Facade coming out now. And I think this Oko Swampert. It does not. Wow, holy shit. Well, Swampert gets an attack off, or, you know, Ursaring just has to switch out. Scalds the Crest, goes back into Blissey. Seismic tosses the Ursaring. Good plays. Facade coming out. Kills that, Probably kills this too. Steams on the Reun. Yeah, he couldn't have subbed there. Okay, subs on the Crest, nice. Lunar Dances. Steam Eruption comes out. So, here's where I think the game was kind of fucked, right? Because if Ursaring is slower than Blissey, which, you know, let's do Ursaring Trick Room. Let's even put it at 31 IV speed. If it's Brave, it's slower than every Blissey. So, I think the play by KSB was to sub over and over and over. And try and just kill Trick Room turns. So here, for example, he could have subbed one more time. And then it would have been down to 2 turns. Let me think about this, right? Because, so, here, he facades, whatever, subs. And so, he would be at 20%. Then he would also be taking the burn chip. and then he kills Volcanion. So there would be one more turn of Trick Room. But if that thing was close combat, it was killing Blissey. So, let me see the turn before this. So he has 4 turns, right? Trick Room is up. Steam Eruptions. Okay, good play. So now he has 3 turns. Ursaring is full health. He subs here. Let's say he subs. And he has 2 turns. The sub would be up. He has to break it. And he hits the sub. Instead of going Blissey. Then the sub is broken. And he has 1 more turn. And then the Facade kills Volcanion. And then he has no turns. Then Blissey would have won the game with just Seismic Tossing. Yeah, so yeah. That was a gifted game. Clash won that due to a KSB sell. But it's okay. I mean, he probably did his best. So, yeah. That was definitely a choke and a half, but GG's. Now here's a game. We're going to get into this one. This is a good one. We're going to get into this one. A Little Cup game between Divine and Surdish. So Divine, pretty good Little Cup player, just good player in general, versus Surdish, who's a very good Little Cup main as well. So we'll get right into this. Divine looks like he has a solid matchup, but so does Surdish. I'm not really sure what Doduo does, honestly, but you know, Divine gets rocks up. Diglett's not that good. Staryu gets 2 KO'd by Pawniard. Yeah, so it's not looking bad at this. So Snubble comes out, and it just gets hit with a fake out immediately, and U-turn. So already chip on Snubble, and Fungus just easily comes in. Not even a question. Now this Fungus can spore anything on the team, which is pretty good. So yeah, the Porygon gets spored. Huge spore, by the way. And the Onix comes in. And I think Divine valued getting chip into Porygon a little too much right here. Because he didn't set up rocks, and you'll see he just goes for the explosion. But the Porygon can just recover, which it didn't, but it could have. Regardless, the Pawniard goes for knockoff, knocking off the Mienfoo, which is pretty good. Fungus comes out, gets U-turned on, and Doduo comes in, which is scary for this. And it has knockoff too, so it beats Slowpoke, which sucks. But the Porygon comes in, which can't die to anything, because, you know, it's broken-ass Porygon. And the Tri-Attack comes out onto Snubble, and Snubble eats its Berry Juice. Hits it again, and gets hit with close combat, only does 53, and Snubble dies. Mienfoo comes back, High Jump kicks the Fungus, and now Fungus gets a Spore if it wants, which it spores the Mienfoo there, and the Mienfoo then gets Psychicked. So, big turns by Divine. The Fungus comes back in on the Doduo, the Jump Kick hits it, which is a really good read. Pawniard comes in on the Brave Bird, which is another really good read. And this Pawniard is Scarf, so Surdish has to switch out. And here's the turn where I say that getting that Rocks up earlier would have been huge. The Staryu would have taken Rocks Chip and then been in range of 2 knockoffs. Diglett wouldn't be able to come in to Revenge because the Rocks would be up. And I'm not sure if Diglett dies. So let's do Diglett, Offensive Trapper, versus Pawniard. We'll do Little Cup Choice Scarf. So yeah, there's a chance of killing, and we'll put Stealth Rock up, actually. I'm not sure why. So that's after Stealth Rock. Okay. So before, it has no chance? Or Stealth Rock just doesn't make a difference? Okay, yeah, it just doesn't make a difference in the roll. Sorry. For Diglett, at least. But at least then, the Diglett doesn't have a Sash at all. So there's a chance of you killing. Doduo is going to take rocks. Porygon's going to take rocks. Staryu dies. Something would have died this turn, but unfortunately there was no rocks up. So the Staryu goes for the Psychic, and Porygon gets a free heal, another free heal. Gets burned, which isn't too bad actually. The Tri-Attack keeps coming out. They're just trying to hit each other, and then Divine finally says, "Fuck it, I'm pairing." And not once does Divine get a double para that's good for his Porygon. He does end up killing Staryu, which is really good. Fungus comes in and on the Doduo Brave Bird just for a sack. which sounds good, and then Doduo reveals Berry Juice, which, you know, it sucks. His Porygon comes in, gets hit with Tri-Attack. Divine goes for the 1 para, doesn't get it. Mienfoo comes out, he does get parried, which is good. The high jump kick comes out onto Diglett, it lands, hits the sash, and then I think Divine U-turns here. Yeah, no reason not to. Gets that good chip into Porygon, and I think here he's just going for an outplay to get Mienfoo in, which he does. Mienfoo comes in on the recover, which is really good. And high jump kick lands into Porygon, and it hits for a Tri-Attack. Doesn't freeze or burn or anything, so we're chilling, but he goes for high jump kick again. This was a throw, because knockoff always killed this Porygon. If he doubled into Doduo, this Porygon is paralyzed, his Porygon beats Doduo, and you're chilling. But high jump kick unfortunately missed. And then, hold on, go back, sorry. High jump kick misses, and this Porygon recovers, which you're like, oh shit, are you kidding me? But it only has one more recover, and Divine can beat it, so. Divine just tries to use his recovers to try and get his Porygon in the best place possible, which he does. And then you're like, okay, so Divine just wins, right? He gets crit, and everyone's like, oh shit. Doesn't really matter that he crit that, to be honest. But this Tri-Attack right here, just so y'all know, Porygon will do, right, because it's banned in Showdown Little Cup. This is Doduo, Little Cup Physical Attacker, and we're going to do level 5 Tri-Attack at +1. 81.3% chance to have killed that right there. So, sucks for Divine. He could have knocked off and guaranteed the win. He also could have rocked and guaranteed the win. But at the end of the day, Divine still won. He played the early game very well. So, yeah. Yeah, that's just really unfortunate. It is what it is. It's Pokemon, but yeah. Then we have Hyro versus Taka, which we have a pretty good game, it looks like. We got Hyper Offense versus Stall. This is an interesting Stall as well, because it does have Xatu with Magic Bounce. Frostas might have a hard time getting up spikes, same with Kruger Rocks, but then again, Xatu is threatened by both of them. So it'll be for an interesting game with the plays. And Taka leads off with Crocodile as Hyro leads off with Alomomola. And he taunts immediately and gets taunted back, but this is a free knockoff for Taka, so yeah. Gets knocked, goes into Lucario on the Aloe, and it was a toxic play, so he was chilling. Goes back into Crocodile, and Quagsire comes in. Knocks the Quagsire. He's making a lot of progress already, just removing a lot of utility, which is good. Then Latias comes in on the Quagsire's recover, which Clash has to fear. Or not Clash, sorry, Hyro. Frostless comes in on Aggron, which obviously is not cool. Heavy Slam comes out onto Aggron, and Krug is at 1, which sucks because now this is your last chance to get rocks. Absolute last chance. Magic Bounce comes, but Xatu does have to switch because of the knockoff coming in. And Taka does end up getting rocks, which, you know, the rocks suck to have on your side, but it's much better for Taka right here, because now he can break stuff like Mandibuzz and Alomomola. The close combat comes out onto Aloe, doing about 50, which is pretty good. Frostlass comes out, and I think this was on a Quagsire. Yes, it was. He taunts the Aggron, which is goes for the Destiny Bond. And he keeps going for Taunt and Debond. But unfortunately, this Aggron also has Earthquake, but he does manage to get the Spike up, which is good. Then Sharpedo comes in, and I think the Earthquake is still disabled, so he has to Heavy Slam here. He also goes for an immediate Mega, which makes sense because nothing is even faster than Sharpedo anyway, so it doesn't make sense to waste a turn trying to boost your speed first. He crunches the Aloe, which is good. Then I think he just Waterfalls here, which doesn't do that much. He should have Liquidation on this, but Waterfall is fine. So goes for Ice Fang, does 50 to Mandibuzz, which is pretty big, but it looks kind of rough. This is a good position for Taka because Mandibuz's U-turn or foul play I don't think is one-tapping Sharpedo. It's just not. The Ice Fang doing 50 is forcing Mandibuz to roost a lot. So, and if he doesn't roost one turn, then the Sharpedo just demolishes the whole team. But the Mandibuzz just dies to Ice Fang because for crit, game is pretty much over. The Alum comes in. Sharpedo just crunches for free. Xatu's dead. Aggron comes in. It's not gonna... I don't think it kills Sharpedo here. I know Sharpedo dies at some point, but... Yeah, so Aggron just can't do anything. Dies. Gets crunched by the Quag, or crunched by Sharpedo. Quag kills him with Earthquake. At this point, it looks like either Venomoth or Lucario wins. Doesn't really matter which, to be honest. Quag dies. Alum doesn't have enough health. Alum dies. Blissey dies. And a good win for Taka. So yeah. Let me see if there's any other replays I want to check out. Because I think there is. I just didn't have them saved right away. I think this one? Yeah. Okay, so it's an old OU game between Lost and Cows. We'll switch sides. Lost is bad. We all know that. Volcarona can be huge if Blissey's removed at some point. And Clef too, I guess. But if it's Fire Blast Volk, you're chilling. Zapdos volting around is going to be annoying. Scizor, you turning around is going to be annoying, etc. So yeah, some pretty basic turns at the beginning there. And the Tyranitar comes out. Is this old OU or new OU? I can't tell. So it's new OU. Okay. And the Tyranitar goes for Fire Punch, which does like literally 0 to Scarm, which is fine. I think this is more important to get the Stealth Rock up, which is T-Tar is his rocker, obviously. The Zapdos has Pressure, which is good because he can Pressure Stall Defog from Gliscor. And he can Volt or HP Ice pretty freely here. But he actually goes Hard Scizor, which is also a good play. And U-turn is also very free because the Scarm doesn't have Helmet or anything. So the Zapdos and Scizor can kind of just Volt turn for free over and over, which is pretty cool. I think this is AV Amoonguss also, so it also fears T-Tar, and it gets fucking pursued, so yeah. Scizor is also lefties, not banded, so it can SD and be threatening as well. And Skarmory is the only answer to SD Scizor, which means it gets U-turned on. And it gets more momentum, which is pretty good. And Zapdos can come in and get a Volt as well. So already it's not looking bad for either player. Looks to be a little bit towards Cows with the Mega Tyranitar. And Lost makes Cell of the Century by sacking his Blissey. Like, why even stay, bro? Like, if you're gonna take pursuit damage, fine. It's gonna hurt. It just is. But staying in is still not a great play. So we can calc Tyranitar, Mega, OU Stealth Rock. Let's say it's this set versus Blissey. First off, we don't know why it's Blissey. If you switch, you are taking max 51. Stone Edge is doing 64 max, which, you know, either way, switching is just... Where's the replay? I just lost it. There it is. Either way, just switching. Just switch, man. You have a Clef, you have a Gliscor, no reason to stay in. But he stays, and he dies, and everyone is just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? The spikes come out. I think these Zapdos can defog here pretty freely. It also sucks now because his Volt answer is like Clefable, which takes a decent amount. Tyranitar comes out, takes the Stone Edge, which is fine. I think that Cow should have gotten Rocks up one of these turns, but that's just me. The Gliscor is also threatened by HP Ice, so there's that too. Finally gets Rocks up. Stone Edge misses. Not a big deal, he's at 100. Stone Edge misses versus Slowbro, which is kind of big. And he's not getting any crits, so yeah. He also doesn't have Bug Buzz on his Volk. So. And here we see it, the Mega Slowbro. His play now is to crit with something, but you can't crit a Mega Slowbro, and at this point the game is just over. You can try SDing with your Scizor, but Scald does too much. You can't crit it with Giga Drain Volk. You can try SDing, which he did, and its Extra Drill was also sashed. So let me just see something first. So let's say this is Sandrush Drill versus Slowbro Mega, which is very bulky, mind you. We'll put that at +2. We'll also say it's adamant, given the benefit of the doubt. And we'll even say that this isn't even max defense Slowbro. We'll go ahead and say that. This Earthquake, it's only doing 57 max. So it's a 94% chance to 2 a KO. So that burn did matter. It really did. But you shouldn't have sacked your Volcarona before that. But like, there's also that element that, you know, Scizor wins right away. If you do get that huge damage into Slowbro. I don't know. That burn really does hurt, but you know. And it wasn't killing. Yeah, this guy, doubt it killed. But that burn did matter. It could have gotten chip into that Slowbro, and Scizor could have been chilling to try and win the game. Kaos forfeits. And I think there's one more replay that I thought was good. Yeah, Condor versus Louise. That's the last one I think I'm going to do. If it'll ever load. Is my Wi-Fi just bugging again? Yeah, it is. Jesus. Come on, man. Don't make me end the video like this. I'm going to close out all these other tabs. Come on, dude. What is going on with the Wi-Fi? Is my mom using it or something? Let me try switch networks really quick. I don't think that interrupts my recording, so. There we go. It didn't interrupt my recording, it looks like. So yeah, we got Condor versus Louise. So, I know Condor's team. I'm not going to leak out everything, but I'll say what's revealed in the match. So we got Seismitoad, which looks pretty actually good into this. Especially if it's not Freeze Dry Mammo. Hydreigon can be a threat. You know, but, you know, it's good. It switches into Cobalion, etc. The Stealth Threat comes out, and the Seismitoad tosses Toxic at Slowking with no risk, and the Future Sight comes out. Metagross comes in, and Sylveon comes out. So a good play by Luis to start off the game. Slowking comes back in on the Metagross, and the mash misses, which is good. Really good for Condor there. Gets a tiny bit of chip into fucking Metagross, but it doesn't really matter. And Scald comes out from the Slowking, and burns, which he needed. He very much needed that burn. I think he went Cobalion here? Yeah, he did. That makes the most sense. And he goes back into Sylveon. It looks like that's his safe switch into Seismitoad. Which, of course, also gets Toxicked. He wishes right here. Good play. I think he just Hyper Voices or Heal Bells, which he does. Gets some health back on that Sylveon, and the Slowking poison is gone too, which is huge. Goes into Hydreigon, which was actually really good because he Send Blooded, which is pretty cool. I think he just U-turns or Dark Pulses, but he actually goes for default, gets the rocks away, which is pretty good for him. Goes Sylveon on that Mandibuzz. Condor so far playing a really good game. Metagross being burned was good for him, but you know that's why you have Scald, so can't really complain too much. Protects versus Beedrill to make sure he doesn't have any some kind of weird set or doesn't have Poison Jab or something. Goes into Slowking on a Drill Run, and Slowking dodges it. I don't know if that is a huge dodge, but let's see. Beedrill versus Slowking. Drill Run, yeah, it's not a huge dodge, but definitely helps. He goes for the knockoff and protect and U-turn. So now all the moves are revealed, sorry. And it looks like Mamoswine is not bad into it. So now Mamoswine can come in and get Crash off. But he goes for knockoff, which I don't think was the best play. I know he's trying to hit that Slowking, but I think just crashing is always better there. Burns the Slowking, which is good because now Seismitoad can't Toxic it. And it gets Grass Knotted. So remove that, sorry, what's his name? Seismitoad. Sack Slowking, it's not that good anyways now. Future Sight always blocked by Mandibuzz, but so I can't hit on that play too much. Defogs from Hydreigon. Rocks are gone permanently. And Cobalion comes out on that Mandibuzz. Gets that U-turn. Get that money. Gets that Rocks up versus that Slowking. Money. You already know. Cobalion should get a Volt or just a switch into Sylveon here. Either one is really good. The Wish comes out from Sylveon. And the Heal Bell. Healing that Cobalion burn, which is really nice. Sylveon gets burned, but that's not a big deal, so. Wish is up again. Another Future Sight from that Slowking. I think he goes Hydreigon here. Because Scald, while threatening, also doesn't, like, yeah, it sucks if your Hydreigon gets burned. Sorry, hold on. Let me just stop for a minute. It sucks if your Hydreigon gets burned because you may need Hydreigon to beat Slowking here. Especially with Mamoswine at 1. And you don't really have setup moves on Sylveon. Aerodactyl can 2-hit KO Slowking as well. But you don't want that Hydreigon burned in the off chance that you have to Dark Pulse it down. So, yeah. Hydreigon is Scarfed as well, so it's not like it's doing a fuckload to Slowking. So, gets that U-turn chip into that Beedrill, while Beedrill also U-turns, and it goes into Slowking. Which, of course, now you need Hydreigon for. So, Louise obviously goes into his Mandibuzz here. Dark Pulse is the only play for Condor, because if you don't Dark Pulse, Slowking is just chilling. So he does have to go into Aerodactyl on that Mandibuzz. As it goes for Defog, which I don't think that was good. I think maybe U-turning or just roosting in general was better. But, yeah, Aerodactyl there was always a good play. It's good into everything left. So Aerodactyl Megas gets that Stone Edge chip into that Slowking. So Slowking is forced out. And he has to sack the Mandibuzz anyway. What's it called? Beedrill can't come in. And we'll see later that his Mienshao is not Scarfed. So Slowking gets the crit burn. Crit doesn't matter, but the burn does. So, yeah. But the Slowking gets flinched first try. So you're chilling. Mienshao comes in, gets Dark Pulsed. Sylveon comes in to try and check Mienshao, which is fine. He tries to protect here to get another HJK off, but the Mienshao has Poison Jab, which is pretty free. The Aerodactyl comes in, and I believe it just Earthquakes here. There's no other reason, no other move to click. So yeah, it does Earthquake. Slowking comes in, and the Cobalion actually comes out. I'm not sure if that was the play. I think maybe damaging with an Aerodactyl move in general was probably better. But it is what it is. Scald burns the Cobalion, which could potentially suck, but maybe not. Iron Head comes out, and now this is why the Hydreigon being burned sucks. If you don't flinch this Slowking, it can just slack off on all your Dark Pulses, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm just lying. The slack off does not have enough PP. But the burn could maybe kill Hydreigon. So it looks like it's just a interesting fight. So you lose 6% every turn. So, what's fucking 54 divided by 6? That's 9. So you got 9 more turns. Which, you know, there's more slack-offs than there are 9 turns. So if you don't flinch this thing, it's tough. And he does get flinched. Then he switches into his Mienshao, which is fine. Takes the Dark Pulse, and now it doesn't matter, I think. Right, because he immediately slack-offs, and if he doesn't attack Aerodactyl right here, it's an insta-loss. He could have burned Aerodactyl, and maybe it's different, but he didn't, so it wasn't easy. And then Condor wins the game. Really well-played game by Condor, looking for that burn on Metagross early. I just think it was a really well-played game by him. I can't pinpoint exactly. I think the Mamo potential sack into Beedrill was not that great. I also think knocking wasn't all that great. I think crashing was better, but just for more damage overall. But I understand why he was trying to hit Slowking. It's a big threat, so well played to Condor. And I think that's all the replays I want to get into today. Yeah, that is all the replays I want to get into today. So yeah, I'll upload this pretty soon. Thanks to whoever's watching. I don't think the analysis on this one was the best, mainly just because there were so many chokes. or just like games that were very linear, where you don't have to do too much to win. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this more content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and comment what you want to see next. So thanks for watching, y'all.